The concept of first contact is built on the reality that most men are socialized to look for grand gestures while completely overlooking the small, involuntary clues that actually tell the real story. When a woman interacts with you, there is a massive difference between social politeness and genuine interest. And that difference is usually revealed in the first 3 seconds of an encounter. During this tiny window of time, the brain hasn't yet had the chance to activate its social filter or mask her true emotions. This results in what psychologists call emotional leakage, subtle, physical, and vocal cues that slip out before she can consciously control them. If she's genuinely excited to see you, her body will react before her mind does, giving you a raw, honest look at where you actually stand. To stop the guessing game, you have to become a student of these micro moments. It isn't about being paranoid or overanalyzing every move. It's about noticing the baseline of how she treats everyone else versus the spike in energy she gives specifically to you. This leakage can manifest as a sudden dilation of the pupils, a subconscious straightening of her posture, or a specific warmth in her tone that she doesn't use with the waiter or a casual acquaintance. By focusing on how she greets you in those initial seconds, the way her face lights up, or the specific inflection she uses when she says your name, you gain a clear, direct insight into her level of attraction. Mastering this observation allows you to navigate social dynamics with a sense of calm certainty rather than constantly searching for external validation. The weight of your name centers on the idea that names are the most personal part of our identity, and using them requires a conscious choice, even if it happens in a split second. In a crowded room or a group setting, most people default to general greetings like "hey guys" or "hi everyone" because it's socially efficient and requires zero emotional effort. However, when a woman singles you out by saying your name specifically, she is signaling that you were already a distinct priority in her mind. It's a transition from seeing you as part of the background to recognizing you as a specific individual. This shift isn't just about being polite. It's a psychological marker of importance. If she's been thinking about you or feeling a connection, your name is already loaded in her thoughts, and it naturally spills out the moment you come into view. This specific type of greeting is a powerful indicator of genuine interest because it shows focus and premeditation. Women generally don't use a man's name in a casual passing hello unless they feel a level of comfort or a desire to build a deeper connection. By voicing your name, she is effectively claiming your attention and acknowledging that you hold a unique space in her life. It's a subconscious way of saying that you weren't just a random person she happened to bump into. You were someone she was actively looking for or glad to find. When you notice this happening, understand that it's more than just a greeting. It's a clear sign that your identity has been surfacing in her thoughts long before the actual interaction began. The delay and drop is one of the most reliable indicators of interest because it involves a sudden, involuntary shift in a woman's hierarchy of priorities. To spot this, you have to watch what she's doing the exact moment before she realizes you're there. Most people today are constantly occupied. They are scrolling through a feed, typing a text, or deep in conversation with someone else. A woman who views you as just another acquaintance might give you a quick nod and wave while keeping her phone up or continuing her chat. But a woman who is genuinely into you will experience a visible hitch in her momentum. The moment her brain registers your presence, there is a brief pause where her current task suddenly loses all its value. She drops whatever she was doing to make room for you. This transition is powerful because it shows that your presence is high value enough to override her previous focus. You'll see the phone get lowered to her side, her body turned fully toward you, and her eyes lock onto yours, ignoring the distractions around her. In those few seconds, the rest of the room essentially disappears and you become the center of her world. This isn't just about being well-mannered. It's a biological response to someone she finds compelling. When a woman rearranges her physical focus and halts her current activity just to acknowledge you, she is signaling that the connection with you is more important than whatever busy work she was engaged in. It's a clear, nonverbal way of saying that you are her top priority in that moment. Vocal shifts and physical proximity are two of the most powerful, unconscious indicators of attraction because they are driven by biological impulses rather than social etiquette. When a woman feels a genuine connection with a man, her vocal cords actually react to the presence of those feelings. Science suggests that her pitch may naturally rise or take on a more musical and softer quality. This is an evolutionary response designed to sound more feminine and appealing to a person of interest. To catch this, you have to listen for the contrast. If she sounds professional or monotone with a coworker, but her voice suddenly becomes warmer, more melodic, or breathy when she turns to greet you, that change in frequency is a direct reflection of her internal state. She isn't doing it on purpose. Her biology is simply adjusting to the person she finds attractive. This vocal change almost always works in tandem with a gradual closing of physical space. Most people are naturally very protective of their personal bubble and will maintain a standard distance of about 3 to 4 feet during casual conversation. However, when a woman is interested, she will subconsciously find ways to breach that boundary. This might look like her stepping just a few inches closer than is socially required, or angling her body so that she's fully facing you. It also shows up in micro touches, a brief hand on your forearm to emphasize a point, or a hug that lasts just a split second longer than a platonic one. These aren't accidents. They are manifestations of her desire for proximity. By closing that physical gap and softening her voice, she is creating an intimate environment that signals she feels safe, comfortable, and highly attracted to you. The lingering gaze is one of the most intense and honest signals of attraction because it happens in the silence after the words have already been spoken. In a standard polite interaction, eye contact follows a very predictable rhythm. You say hello, you look at each other, and then you naturally glance away to reset the social tension. However, when a woman is genuinely interested, that rhythm breaks. Instead of looking away as soon as the greeting ends, her eyes stay locked on yours for just a fraction of a second longer than is socially necessary. It creates a tiny, deliberate pause, a moment where it feels like the world has slowed down for a heartbeat. This extra second is her subconscious way of trying to extend the connection and see if you're going to meet her energy. Recognizing this moment is a superpower, but how you react to it is what actually determines your success. Most men feel the tension of that lingering look and immediately ruin it by becoming fidgety, overeager, or desperate to fill the silence with nervous chatter. They start chasing the moment, which instantly signals low confidence. The most attractive thing you can do when you catch that extra second of eye contact is to simply hold it with a calm, steady gaze and a slight, grounded smile. By staying composed and not rushing to break the tension or beg for validation, you show her that you are a man who is comfortable in his own skin and unfazed by her beauty. This steadiness shifts the dynamic, making you the person of high value who doesn't need to chase because he is already secure. The grounded approach is the most critical part of the entire process because it's where most men accidentally sabotage their progress. Once you start noticing these signals, the lingering eye contact, the vocal shifts, or the use of your name, the temptation is to immediately pounce on that information. Many men get a rush of validation and start acting overly excited, needy, or desperate to lock things down and confirm she likes them. This is a massive mistake. If you suddenly change your behavior or start chasing her for more signs, you shatter the natural tension and kill the attraction. You move from being a man of high value to someone who is starving for female approval. The key is to acknowledge the signs internally, but remain externally steady, calm, and unchanged in your mission. To be truly attractive, you must maintain your own frame, which means your happiness and sense of self-worth shouldn't depend on whether she likes you or not. You need to focus on building a life centered around your own purpose, fitness, and personal goals. When you do this, her attention becomes a bonus, a nice addition to an already great life, rather than a requirement that you need to feel good about yourself. When she sees that you've noticed her interest but you aren't rushing to please her or begging for more, it creates a powerful magnetic effect. It shows her that you are a man of options and high self-esteem. By staying focused on your own path and letting the connection develop at its own pace, You allow her the space to keep investing and wondering about you, which is exactly how genuine long term attraction is built.